Between 1992 and 1995, one of the most tragic conflicts in Europe's post-World War II history took place, the Bosnian War, which unfolded within the borders of the former Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, was a brutal ethnic conflict that resulted in the deaths of over 100,000 people and left deep scars that persist to this day. It was not just a war over territory, but a war over identity, religion, and the future of an ethnically diverse region. But how did this conflict come about? To understand the Bosnian War, we must first examine the breakup of Yugoslavia, a state that had been held together for decades by the leadership of Josip Broz Tito. Yugoslavia, a federation of 6 republics, was created after World War II. Under Tito's leadership, Yugoslavia was a socialist state, attempting to balance ethnic tensions by promoting a multi-ethnic identity. But Tito's death in 1980 set the stage for instability. The glue that had kept Yugoslavia together began to unravel, and nationalist sentiments resurfaced in the 1980s and early 1990s, particularly in the republics of Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia. Slovenia and Croatia declared independence in 1991, which triggered a brutal war with the Serbian-led Yugoslav People's Army, as Serb nationalists sought to preserve Yugoslavia. However, Bosnia, with its ethnic diversity of Bosniaks, Bosnian Muslims, Croats, and Serbs, found itself caught in the middle. Bosnia was a place where these different groups had lived together for centuries, but now they were being pulled in different directions by competing nationalisms. In March of 1992, Bosnia and Herzegovina held a referendum for independence. The majority of Bosniaks and Croats voted in favor, but the Serbs, who were the largest minority group, boycotted the vote. As Bosnia declared independence, war immediately erupted. Bosnian Serb forces, supported by the Yugoslav army, sought to carve out Serb-controlled territories, while Bosnian Croats and Bosniaks fought for the country's survival. The stage was set for a catastrophic ethnic war. The Bosnian capital, Sarajevo, became the epicenter of the conflict. From April 1992, the city was besieged by Bosnian Serb forces. The siege lasted for nearly 4 years, making it the longest siege of a capital city in modern history. The people of Sarajevo endured constant shelling, sniper attacks, and a humanitarian crisis. Entire neighborhoods were destroyed, and thousands of civilians were killed or wounded. Alongside the fighting, horrific acts of ethnic cleansing unfolded across Bosnia. The Bosnian Serb forces, under leaders like Radovan Karadzic and military commander Ratko Mladic, sought to create a greater Serbia by forcibly removing non-Serb populations from areas they controlled. Thousands of Croats and Bosniaks were either killed or expelled from their homes in what can only be described as systematic ethnic cleansing. One of the most horrifying chapters of the war occurred in July 1995, when Bosnian Serb forces massacred more than 8,000 Bosniak men and boys in Srebrenica. This atrocity, which the international community later recognized as genocide, sent shockwaves across the world. As the war dragged on, the international community, led by the United Nations and NATO, struggled to intervene effectively. While peace talks began early on, efforts to bring an end to the war were often undermined by the complexity of the conflict and the intransigence of the warring parties. In 1994, NATO launched airstrikes against Bosnian Serb positions in an effort to protect civilian populations. However, it wasn't until the fall of 1995, after the brutal massacre at Srebrenica and the escalation of violence, that the international community took more decisive action. The war officially ended in December 1995 with the signing of the Dayton Agreement in Paris. The agreement, brokered by the United States, created a complex power-sharing structure for Bosnia and Herzegovina. The country was divided into 2 entities, the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, primarily consisting of Bosniaks and Croats, and Republika Srpska. Dominated by Serbs, this division was meant to prevent further violence but also cemented ethnic divisions, which continue to affect Bosnia's political landscape today. In the aftermath of the war, Bosnia was left deeply scarred, both physically and emotionally. Cities and villages were destroyed, and the survivors of the war faced trauma that would span generations. While reconstruction has taken place, the political system established by the Dayton Agreement has contributed to a deeply fragmented society, where ethnic identity often overshadows national unity. Following the war, international courts began prosecuting those responsible for war crimes. The International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia (ICTY) was established to bring justice to the victims of atrocities like the Srebrenica massacre. High-profile figures like Radovan Karadzic and Ratko Mladic were eventually convicted of genocide and war crimes, although many survivors still feel that justice has not been fully achieved. Today, Bosnia and Herzegovina is a fragile piece built upon compromise. While many Bosnians, Croats, and Serbs still live in the same communities, the divisions sown by the war remain. Ethnic tensions continue to influence the country's politics and daily life, making the process of healing and reconciliation a difficult one. The Bosnian War remains a haunting reminder of the dangers of nationalism and the fragility of multi-ethnic societies. It also serves as a testament to the resilience of the Bosnian people who, despite their suffering, continue to rebuild their lives and their country. As we reflect on the Bosnian War, we must remember the victims of the conflict and honor their memory by striving for a future of peace, unity, and understanding. Bosnia's journey is a difficult one, but it offers lessons for the world about the importance of dialogue, tolerance, and the value of human life above all else. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more content on historical events and conflicts around the world.